If you're a follower of this channel, you know that my X-Men statue collection right behind me is one of my favorite setups for so many different reasons. Part of it's nostalgia, part of it is how cool the statues are, but another part is how many different cool characters there are with the X-Men. Now the whole goal as a statue collector is to get the statues you want and make sure those are incredible statues. So while I have all these different X-Men behind me, do I have the best ones of each character? No. The answer is no. As the Extreme channel is pushing towards 50,000 subscribers, these are just a few of the statues we are giving away on the journey there. If you want to know how to win one, stay tuned for later in the video. Hey everyone, welcome to the Extreme channel. My name is Mr. X. We're all about extreme collectibles. Today we're going to talk about X-Men statues. Now if this seems familiar, that's because I did a video right here on what are the best X-Men statues. Well, the title of this video is very similar. It's actually very different. We're going to look at all the main characters that are made in statue form of the X-Men and the X-Men villains and pick which statue of that particular character is the best ever made. As a disclaimer, some of them are behind me, some of them are not. Some have been on this table before, some I've never even seen in real life, but I acknowledge they are the best. Now, while I would love to own the best of every statue, there are a few considerations, such as statue pairings, price, availability. So I'm going to try and be objective, but chances are, because this is my opinion, you will disagree with me, and that's good, because while my opinion isn't fact, neither is yours. But as we go through the different characters, if you agree or disagree, throw that down in the comments below, because that comment could win you a statue when we hit 30,000 subs. We will be giving all of these statues away, plus additional ones at every 5,000 subscriber milestone. To win one of these statues, all you have to do is make sure you've liked this video, you've subscribed to the channel, you've hit that bell notification, and then just drop a comment below. Every 5,000 subscriber milestone, we are going to do a random drawing and pick a random comment and give one of these statues away, plus some additional ones I'm not showing right now. The more videos you comment on, the higher your chances are to win. Now before we get started, this is the first video in a series of videos. We're going to do this not only for X-Men today, but we're going to do Marvel in the future, DC, and then some random one-offs. Now before we get started, I want to let you know there's a few characters that there are no statues of, or maybe just one and sometimes two. Those I left out of the countdown. For example, there's not a great Blob statue, although I do have a great one on order. You can see it right here. So if you want to see that when it hits the table, make sure you've not only liked this video, but you've subbed the channel and hit that bell notification. Now with that, I'm also going to consider a few statues that are currently being made. They may end up being one of the best ones, even though I am a big believer you have to see something in person. So we're going to start off way to my right, or to your left. There, that Iceman statue up there. We're going to start with Iceman. There's a number of different Iceman statues, both licensed and custom. I've owned actually 4 different custom, I believe, if that's correct, and I have one more on the way. But I'm a big believer that this guy that I have is the best, despite a lot of controversy around it. I've never seen a statue this dynamic. It shows his powers. I love when X-Men attack Sentinels because the 90s cartoon was such a classic for me. And I know I already started off a little controversial, but let's just keep going. Next, Storm. I think XM Studios Storm, and I am lucky enough to own that as well, is the best statue. It hasn't been beat. Sideshow tried, they failed. There's a number of customs out there, and I think that Storm is still absolutely the best. And number 3 is a tough one as well, but I think I'm fortunate to own the best one. And as a disclaimer, we're not necessarily talking about 1/4 scale, although a lot of the ones I own are, but I'm considering life size, 1/3 scale, 1/10 scale. So with that, Cyclops. I believe this Cyclops that's part of that same Iceman line is the coolest Cyclops I've ever seen, and there are some really, really good contenders. And this is one, to be honest with you, when I first got it, I got it because it was part of the line, but now that I have it, I think it's absolutely amazing, and it hasn't been beat. You'll see above me, this Rogue is also part of the line. She's not the best Rogue statue, but I think I've owned the best Rogue statue, and again, a lot of great choices. I think Sideshow's Maquette, specifically their exclusive, is the best Rogue statue that's been made. It showcases her power, still hasn't been beat, and I believe the exclusive is still highly sought after. This next statue I've never seen in person, but I believe it's the best. And the ones I don't have in person, I've grabbed photos from forums and Facebook, so credit to the owner for this. But this custom beast on a desk, I don't think it has been beat. Pretty amazing piece on every single level, and there's been a lot of custom beasts out there that are very, very good, but I think this one, after a long period of time, is still the winner. Colossus is an interesting guy. I have a Colossus statue right up there, and I've owned one other one, which I think is the best, but there's some custom ones coming in, some custom dioramas. XM Studios made one, Sideshow made one, all pretty popular, but even though this is kind of an offshoot, the Phoenix Force, and this particular statue was the prototype, so it was painted really well. To me, this is the best Colossus statue that has been made. Without showing his power, it shows his power. I love the outfit he has on, and it's such a cool piece for sure. Now, I was thinking a few others, like there's been a few Magic statues. We're going to leave those off the list. Try and stick with the traditional X-Men. Well, one I ran into was actually Kitty Pryde. So I own this custom Kitty Pryde right above my head. Now with that, I don't think she's the best Kitty Pryde. There's about 2 or 3 custom options, but I think Sideshow made the best Kitty Pryde, and if you're confused, Sideshow never made a Kitty Pryde. Yes, they did with their Juggernaut statue. I thought this was amazing. It was only half a body, but it showcased her power, and I really liked this. Too bad they didn't sell it alone, because I would have kept it, because I did end up buying that Juggernaut. And while we're talking about Juggernaut, I want to stay with the good guys first, then jump to the Brotherhood. But while we're talking about Juggernaut, I think Sideshow's Juggernaut is one of the best on the market, but this is one where I'm actually going to give it a tie. I'm going to give it to this custom one as well. I think they're tied for the best Juggernaut on the market. But I do have a diorama of Juggernaut, Colossus, and Kitty Pryde coming in right here that has some crazy switch outs, should come in the next few months. Another reason to subscribe to the channel if you want to check that out when it comes. Gambit's a tough one. So I own XM Studios. There's been some amazing customs out there, but I think Sideshow's Gambit is still the best one out there. The dynamic aspect of it, I have seen this in person at a con. Such a cool piece. I just pre-ordered the XM before, and I still like the XM a lot, but I don't see a need to switch it out. Jean Grey. There's been a lot of Jean Grey statues that I think were absolutely horrible, but I think XM did a version of Jean Grey, so I'm saying their Dark Phoenix is the best Jean Grey statue out there. Still hasn't been beat. I think it's about 4 or 5 years old now. Amazing statue on so many different levels. Nightcrawler. Another statue that there's so many good options, both custom and licensed. And this one was really tough for me. I think Sideshow's is amazing. I've had some amazing customs on this table. But my favorite, my personal favorite, while I don't think it's the best, so I'm not labeling it the best, I'm just labeling it my favorite, is this custom that I got a long time ago for a few different reasons. Number one, it was the first quarter-scale Nightcrawler statue that actually hit the market. To my knowledge, there might be a much older one, but it shows his power, and the paint and sculpt are done excellent. I absolutely love this. Some other quintessential X-Men, like Professor X, I own XM Studios. To my knowledge, this is the only one that was ever done, so I'm kind of ignoring that. Like I said, you have to have at least 2 or 3 options, if not more. Wolverine is obviously a big one. Now, I've done a countdown of the best Wolverine statues, so it shouldn't surprise you what I'm going to pick, and I'm going to pick a tie. Both are pieces that have been on this table. One's still right behind me. But first one is Phase 2 right here. This is absolutely an amazing piece. It's overscaled. That's the only negative about it. I used to own it. Amazing piece. But I also love the samurai version of Wolverine here with so many different switch outs. Only came as a kit, but painted absolutely amazing. Still one of my favorite pieces to this day. Jubilee is a tough one. There's been a few custom Jubilees, an old licensed Sideshow, I believe, and none of them are very good. And I say that knowing that I own this one right here. Here's a picture of it closer. So this is an okay one, but I don't think there's really a winner. Some other females, there's definitely a winner. I think that this X-Force X23 is the best one on the market. I didn't buy it because it was overscaled, but absolutely amazing piece. And I think Sideshow's X23 does give it a good run for its money. Psylocke's another tough one. The one I have, and here's a picture right here, I think the concept is unbeatable. But there are so many other custom ones out there. I think this custom one actually probably takes the cake, even though I haven't seen it in person. Since we're diving a little bit into X-Force, I do want to throw out this custom domino, which I recently got. So I don't know if I've launched this review yet or not because I filmed stuff in advance. But this does beat Sideshow's version, in my opinion, and one other custom out there that I have seen, which was pretty good as well. Before we move to some villains, I know he's not in the X-Men, but I'm still going to throw out this Deadpool statue as the best. And there are a ton of Deadpool statues. I know of at least 15 different ones, but I love this one because it encompasses everything crazy about Deadpool, and I didn't like it until I actually got it on the table. But I think this is the best Deadpool statue made. Now we're going to jump into the Brotherhood, the villains, and there are some amazing choices. And then there's a few, like let's start with Apocalypse. There's about 5 choices for Apocalypse out there right now, maybe 6 or 7. Despite the horrible pose, I think XM Studios is the best Apocalypse statue that's been made. I would still like it to be surpassed. I think it can be surpassed. Mr. Sinister is also another one that you traditionally don't see with license, only customs. So while I actually still own 2 custom Mr. Sinisters, one of the ones I think is the best. Now mine's the prototype, so it's painted, professionally painted, but it looks absolutely amazing with Madeline Pryor right here, who again, we don't see too many statues of, but definitely, in my opinion, the best one. Simple, elegant, absolutely awesome. Omega Red, another one. We've seen about 2 or 3 custom statues, 1 license from XM, which I've owned, but of course, the custom one right here definitely takes the cake. It's no contest. Amazing, amazing statue of an awesome, awesome character, and this one is definitely the best Omega Red I have seen. Archangel. Recently, XM Studios finally came out with some, but I gotta be honest with you, right here, this custom one, in my opinion, is unbeaten. And it just is perfect. It's the perfect Archangel statue, in my opinion. I'm so lucky to have it. Number 1, without a doubt. Another Brotherhood character that is incredibly hard to pick the best one because there are so many great ones. There's so many great custom. There's so many great license. It seems like it's hard to make a bad version of this character, although I'm sure it's possible. But I think this custom that was a kit only, Sabretooth, is the best Sabretooth on the market. I've had a number of other ones on the table. This one easily wins. It's one of my favorite statues, and part of it is because the painter, S7 Customs, did such an amazing paint job. So that leaves us down to one more statue, and it's Magneto. And Magneto's a really tough one because there are some amazing Magneto statue options. Magneto on throne, Magneto levitating. I gotta be honest with you, I've had probably about 20 different Magneto statues, and there's probably 5 of those, one that I don't even own, that I think would be in that top contender. So I narrowed it down to 2. One is one I own, one is one I had on order, and I sold it to somebody else. So let's start with that one. This only came as a kit, and I had too many Magnetos coming in at the time, and no one to paint it, because Mrs. X wasn't painting then. And again, credit to the owner, this one's painted. I think this is one of the best Magneto statues out there, absolutely amazing. But I still love this one that I own. And again, this is a prototype. I'm lucky to get a lot of prototypes in. It's professionally painted, makes it look even better. Such a cool piece. Goes with my entire line. Goes with the Sentinels. So awesome. Now with that, I did have one more I kind of wanted to cover. I bought and sold all of Iron Studios 1/10 scale pieces. Their Sentinel lineup right here. And while, to my knowledge, the only other full Sentinel was made by Sideshow, which I have owned as well, this just has to be put in this video because it's such a cool X-Men piece. The concept alone is absolutely amazing. And I think there were some misses with it, especially at that high price point. But I did want to bring that up. You know, it didn't win a category or anything, but it is truly an awesome piece. So again, now's the time. Throw down in the comments below if you agree, disagree, if I missed some characters, or just some statues. Also, if you could do me a favor, hit that like button. It really helps the channel. In the meantime, I'm out.